Hey y'all, it's y'all favorite cozy girl, Chi the Reality Queen, and I'm back again with another episode of Robe Chronicles. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 8, Episode 15. And before we get into it, I just want to apologize for my tardiness. This video is late because I spent my week at South by Southwest EDU, and unfortunately, I did not think to pack any of my recording stuff, and so it just wasn't able to be done. But, anyways, I'm back and I'm here for y'all. So, enjoy. This episode starts off where the last one ends, where Wendy and Candace walk up to the ladies and confront them, like, what are y'all talking about? And it's funny because everybody goes mute. Turn around, everybody on mute. And Wendy was like, no, I want to know what the conversation y'all were just having was about. So Robin being the mouthpiece for, I mean, she wasn't the mouthpiece for Giselle because she actually was the one who brought it up. So technically, it's her issue. I mean, Giselle just agreed that she saw it, but Robin was the one that brought it up. So she, says what the issue is. And Wendy's like, nobody is talking about your daughter. Like, anytime it comes to your kids, you want to weaponize them against people, and nobody has a problem with your kids. Like, we wish your kids well, we want your kids to do well. And she's like, because last season or 2 seasons ago, you was talking about how I was looking at your daughter crazy. And they show the clip, and it's funny because it's just Wendy's normal face. Like, if she's not smiling, she just had a normal face on. Like, people act like she was me mugging the girl. She was not. It was just a normal face for Wendy. Like, if I'm not smiling, this is my face. And that's how she was looking at Grace. And maybe when they rewatched it, they were like, oh, why is she looking at her dirty? But some people have RBF when they're not, if they're not intentionally smiling and happy. And look, I like, for myself, I have a very inviting face. Like, I don't have RBF unless I like am thinking about something. But if I'm just like out in the world just looking around, I have a face that people feel, let me go ask her a question because I feel like she's going to have the answer. That's the face I have. Sometimes I hate it because people will come up to me and say stuff and ask me stuff and whatever. But everybody has a face, and a lot of people have RBF. Wendy's one of those people. So I don't think she was looking at Grace crazy. And Candace hopped in and was like, well, I don't like Giselle. So when she starts speaking, it really don't matter the topic. I'm uninterested. So it's not specifically to her child. I wish her child well. I don't wish any harm on her child. But as it stands, like, I don't, if she's talking, I don't really care for it. And then they showed Giselle and she's talking. She's like, I'm just so surprised at Karen, because if someone was talking about Raven, I would never let anybody disparage Raven. But no one has disparaged Grace, right? Like, no one has said anything bad about Grace or any of your kids, really. In fact, the internet and people love your children. So no one has ever said anything bad about those girls ever, from my understanding. Now, if there are people out there threatening Giselle's kids and saying bad stuff about them, please show them to me because I have never seen it. But like, to try and act like, oh, Karen doesn't have your back because she's not hopping in to say anything. And in fact, she said it goes both ways. Y'all both make looks when people are talking, is like, it's true. You make faces when Wendy is talking. Wendy's like, oh, I'm glad everybody had a good time. Y'all, was I smiling? I wasn't smiling. Like, you're making comments too. So it's not like the conversation matters, it's the person. And both of you guys, all of you guys, feel like when certain people are talking, you make faces. So it's not really anything weird, but I feel like, to me, especially how it was brought up, like, they had that dinner, they went back, they did the event the next day, they took all those pictures, and then they talked about it. It kind of proves what people have been saying, that these people go and plan their conversations and they plan their attacks on the other women. Because it's like, if you had a problem, I would have been in that moment at dinner like, Wendy, Candace, y'all good? Because you keep making faces while Giselle is talking. Is this about grace, or what is it about? But everybody's different. Not everybody's real. But I just think that that would be an in the moment thing. But I think what happened was they were like, okay, how are we going to make drama from that dinner? And that was what was decided in their cluster of people. So then they go to dinner, I think, to celebrate Ashley's Havana Nights dinner, because I guess she didn't get to celebrate her birthday before the trip. Like she had planned a trip and there was like smoke in the air or something. And because there was smoke in the air, she couldn't have the party in DC because there were fires in Canada. I don't even know what was going on, but something happened to that effect. And so because of that, she couldn't have her party. So they were having like a little Havana Nights party for Ashley. And it's funny because Giselle comes out wearing this little flashy little number and it's cute. Okay. The outfit is cute. But Giselle is wearing it with shapewear. I understand the want for shapewear, but if you can't find shapewear that fits in that outfit, then maybe you don't wear shapewear or you don't wear the outfit. You see what I mean? Like it looked so tacky when she came out and she had that, like the outfit. You're like, ooh, cute, cute, cute. Then she turned around and then you see shapewear. And you're like, now why would you do that? Like you could have just either worn the outfit or not worn it. You could have found something else or found shapewear that fit the outfit. I know there's shapewear that comes in all different types because of the outfits people wearing now, but it's like that was not good. Then Ashley comes out looking like Chiquita Banana, and except it's really just underwear and a top and a little head dress. And she's like, "This was my outfit for my birthday that I didn't get to wear." And I'm like, "Okay, it's not cute." Like I don't know why Ashley like, and I think a lot of people are like this, but Ashley feels like the more naked I am, the better the outfit. But like some of her best looks, if she has any, were just normal. I'm not saying, I think naked looks are good too, but she just don't be picking the right ones. And it's funny because Candace even was like, she gives $2 hoe 99% of the time, but she looked good today. Like she looked good in her $2 hoe way. I was like, I thought it was just me who felt like her outfits were always so, they might be expensive brands, they might be, but they just never, something was off. Like, you know how you just can't put your finger on what the fit will be missing, but the fit was missing something. And I just don't know what it is. Every time Ashley puts on an outfit, I'm like, oh, and even the cute ones, I'm like, oh, that's cute, but something's off about this fit. And that's how I feel when she dresses. Uh, then, while at the dinner table, Karen once again brings up the reconciliation between Robin and Candace. And like, I'm tired of it. Like, if they don't want to be friends, they ain't got to be friends. Leave them two adults alone. And it's funny because Candace, now, okay, I see both sides of this story. I do. I really, really do. I see both sides. I do. I try to be as impartial as possible and think about it from multiple perspectives. So, for one, I understand where Candace is coming from. You're watching my husband be defamed for something that your husband actually did. And I'm not saying that you should air yourself out. I do think I mean, Candace thinks she should have. And to some extent, I do think she should have because it's a show about your life, especially when she was over here hinting at an infidelity clause for them to get remarried. Like, why? Okay, here's the reason. Um, but at the same time, I feel like Robin was truly Candace's friend. And she probably was like, even if Giselle and Ashley had a plot to get Chris, like she should have been like, I am not going to be part of this. I don't care. At no point will I be part of this, actually. At no point, like, even no matter what, I'm not going to be a part of this plot because I don't like it. The problem Robin has is at some point she became part of the plot, right? Like she wasn't and she was trying, but then at the reunion, she was just like, let's just say, no, man, if you didn't think there was a problem with it, you should have never even made that statement. You should have been like, Giselle, you was tripping. Candace's husband did nothing, whatever. But when you started switching your tone and then going on your show and saying something, it started to get weird, right? As a friend. Where I think Candace messed up is Candace is a very emotion filled person. And instead of like holding it in, her Twitter fingers got to twittering. And because her Twitter fingers got to twittering, she started to say stuff that I think probably shouldn't have been said. Like, and like I said, she quick. She quick with it. So she be saying stuff that's probably even more harsh than it should have been. And instead of coming to this situation and being like, Robin, I don't like that you did this. I don't like that you're still friends with Giselle. The only way, like, we can move forward with you being friends with Giselle, but you have to acknowledge that she's wrong. See, I think if Candace came from that space, Robin might be more willing to listen. But Candace coming from a space of, you can't be friends with Giselle and you can't be friends with me. The thing is, Giselle didn't do anything to Robin, so Robin doesn't feel like she has to cut her off. And that's one of her good friends. So I think for Candace to believe that she has to do that might be a little ridiculous. Maybe she can say, I want you to admit that what Giselle did was wrong, because that is different. I can admit that my friend did wrong. I can say, yeah, my friend was effed up. That was wrong. They shouldn't have done that. But I just feel like neither one wants to admit any fault in what they've done. And so they're not going to be able to move on. Um, So now Candace is calling Robin a victim. Robin is now saying that what Candace did was defamation. I'm like, Robin, do you know what defamation means? Because I don't think you do. Because she didn't say anything that wasn't true. So, and it's interesting that Robin is also using those terms, which Candace says. Like, it's interesting that she uses the term defamation. Like that's a thing, right? Because I'm pretty sure that's part of what her current lawsuit with um, Michael Darby is. It's something about defamation, or was about defamation before it got thrown out. But it's like, that's an interesting term to use, right? Um, then they, and then she says, what Robin says is, she didn't even check on me when she knew I was going through it because she was so mad. But that's not true. We know Candace sent her a text that said, aside, all BS aside, how are you doing? Whatever, whatever. And Robin chose not to respond. So that kind of sets the tone for where y'all are at. If someone says all BS aside, respond, or don't and draw the line in the sand, which is what she did. So now this fight is on the two of them. It's not just on one person. Um, then they had a cake for Ashley and they did a little montage of all the birthdays that she celebrated with the women. And I don't know about y'all, but that looked like someone who was on their way out. That was a I'm out of here montage. Like, this is it for me montage. That was what that montage was to me. If Ashley comes back next season, I will be surprised. I mean, I honestly think Real Housewives works really well at 6 housewives. I think they can get rid of 2 and add in Kiarna. I think we'd be in a good space. Um, so then the next day, everybody's calling their spouses, whatever. Robin's calling her mama to talk to her about where they're at. And I laugh because it's like, did she finally realize that Juan is just going to keep embarrassing her if she keep calling him while she's on vacation or anywhere, basically? Like, that man is set out to embarrass you. Like, I want to say he doesn't do it intentionally, but at some point you have to believe, like, this is intentional. Like, this man is doing this because he's just mean at some point. But yeah, she called her mom, and Giselle went over to Karen's room, and she's like, "Can we talk?" And, they go to the pool to talk. And she's like, "I'm disappointed in you not speaking up and saying children are off limits and yada, 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 just nonsense." And Karen immediately whips back and is like, "Giselle, as a mother, in that moment, you had the perfect opportunity to say children are off limits. Why should I be the person to have to say it for you?" Like, and it's true. Like, if you feel like that's what's going on or something's happening, this is your kid. That's not Karen's kid. That's not Robin's kid. That's not any of those people's kid. I don't care if I'm not talking to you. If I felt you disrespected my child, oh, we talking today. I'm not going to ignore you if I think that you disrespected my child. Like, that's the thing about Giselle. She's kind of like fakey fakey, and it's hard to like deal. Like, oh, I feel like they were talking about my kid, so I'm going to ignore them. You think someone's talking about your child and your idea is to ignore them? Oh, you got it twisted, because that who we talking today. We're talking, because don't do that. But I mean, as it turns out, that wasn't even the case, but that would be me. Um, then I think what it is to me is, Giselle likes Karen. And because she likes Karen, she wants Karen to be on her side. But Karen refuses. And like she has said in the past, I don't pick sides. I don't know why that's a problem for y'all. And people are like, oh, she does pick sides because she's with Candace and Wendy. Not true, because the same thing happened when Monique fought Candace. And she was like, I'm not saying what she did wasn't wrong, but I'm saying that Monique is still my friend. Candace had to work to actually be okay with Karen again. People have a short memory. If she was just siding with Candace and Wendy without even thinking, that would have never happened. But she actually had to work through and start talking to Karen again, because Karen was like, sorry, girl, me and Monique still cool. Like, and that was the problem. She's like, we're good. I like you. We cool. And me and Monique are cool too. And that really bothered Candace. So Karen doesn't just say, oh, I'm choosing a side and moving on. That's not her at all. But anyways, they come to a resolve. And then the ladies go to a restaurant for lunch. It's like a church restaurant or something. They go to this restaurant at a castle or a church or something. And Mia asked Karen about her trainer that she's been using to work out. And she's like, oh, God, you guys have been asking me, whatever, whatever. But she admits that her trainer is Vernon Davis, the ex football player, or retired football player. And then they ask, like, oh, is he single? Because, Ashley's looking for somebody. And Ashley's like, well, me and Vernon are actually already friends. I don't know the relationship Ashley has with Vernon, but Ashley kind of lies like Mia sometimes. So I'm like, what is this here? Maybe they are together. Maybe, I mean, not together, but like maybe they have flirted, like she said. She's like, I mean, we DM each other and da 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 da, and woot 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 woot. So I'm just like, Ashley, what's going on here, girl? Somebody black? That's new. But yeah, Vernon is young. I mean, closer in age. I want to say young. And he's black. That's different for Ashley. Ashley looking for a daddy. Literally, her own father. That's what she's looking for. But then Karen brings up her conversation with Giselle and how she was talking about her not defending her and whatever. And, you know, Giselle says it's because she feels that Karen acts different when Wendy and Candace are present, like she's meaner. And then what Mia agrees, and she's like, "Yeah, I feel it too." And I'm like, "Mia, don't be the freaking parrot in the room just parroting everything that Giselle says. Like, it's unbecoming of you. Like, your role is a liar who makes up stories and entertains us with the foolishness. Like, being someone's lapdog, I didn't see that for you. So don't do it. Just be you. Be who you were, you know? I'm not saying I care for the line or I like the line, but like, it's better than being a lapdog. Um, and Wendy's like, no, it's not that she's meaner. It's that you guys tend to try to come for us when we're all together in a group. And then she holds y'all accountable. She'll say the real. And y'all don't like that, which is exactly what's happening. Like, if Wendy and Candace are there, then someone's trying to be mean to them or say something. And Karen comes in like, hey, let's look at all sides to this. And that's really what happens. And they don't like it because these people want to be mean without repercussion. Um, and it's funny because Kiana hops in and she kind of clears everything. Like she's like, coming into this group, I can kind of see what's going on. Like there is a clear issue between, you know, Candace and Giselle. And there's, you know, and Wendy kind of talks to it. She's like, it's because we were friends. Like it's easy to forget now in season 8, but Wendy and Giselle were cool. They did have moments. They laughed, they joked, like, you know. But when they decided to do that little plot against her husband, Wendy was like, oh man, we're not playing. And then they went and turned it to do it on Candace. So it's like she has a game plan. She did it to Monique too when she was trying to say that Big Boy wasn't the father of their youngest son. Like that is Giselle's plot. Giselle is a bitter woman who her marriage didn't work out, and she has spent the rest of her days trying to get other people's marriages to not work out so they can all be as miserable as her. That's what it seems. If that is not her goal, if that is not it, then I need someone to tell me what it is. But it seems very much so that she is much happier around people who are unhappy in their marriages. I've said it before. Take a look at the people she's closest with, all unhappily married or working on a divorce of some sort. It just is what it is. It's who she likes. Um, then it's actually kind of embarrassing to me how Kiana can come in and her commentary is so spot on. Like, Neka, what have you been doing? Like, you joined in and are so adamant about having beef with Wendy that you're not really adding anything. Like when you add commentary, it's useless. It's nothing. It's like a stupid comment. Like Wendy says, "Oh, we're gonna have a good time. No problem." She's like, "No problems with you." Like, girl, I know that you're better than this. That's what's disappointing. What's disappointing is I know that Nneka has to be better than this, and she is not living up to who I know she probably can be. She came in so adamant on beefing with Wendy and being in with the GEBs that she is coming in with actual like stupid additions. Like Kiana came in and she's friends with Wendy, but she's already said stuff to them and held them accountable and called them out. Like that's how you do it. You don't come in picking a side and hating another. Like, girl, no, this is old. Um, then they split into groups. Some people go to play tennis, some people go to skeet shooting. And it's funny because Kiana ends up going with Giselle, Ashley, Robin, and Nneka skeet shooting. And the other girls go to tennis. And so Giselle is asking her, like, well, how have you been enjoying like hanging out with this group and this trip? And she's like, oh, it's good. Like, you know, I'm getting to know the vibe and whatever. And Robin was like, since you came in as Wendy's friend, did she tell you anything about us? And da 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 da. And Kiana's like, no, she didn't say anything. She was like, the only real beef she spoke to was about NECA because that was like the pressing issue at the time, like where they have a beef. And she was like, honestly, it's so deep. It's like much deeper than I can understand because of all the cultural nuances, whatever. This is what Kiana's saying, whatever. And then here comes NECA clomping over because that's what she do. She be clomping over. Honestly, that's another problem I have with her. I need her to stand up straight. She's tall. She's regal. Stand up straight, girl. You could do it. You would look 10 times better to me. But I feel like she be coming over hunched over, and I mean, you can't really change somebody's posture. I have terrible posture, so I'm not saying that. But I'm also short. Whereas NECA is very like elegantly long, and so when she kind of brings herself in, it doesn't look good for her. I can tell that she could stand and give herself some and she don't do that. She kind of be hunched over. But she came over. She's like, "What? Did you tell Wendy what you're telling me?" And she's like, "Well, she was the one that was offended." Like, and then here comes Giselle. She was offended too. Giselle, shut up. I think more people need to say that. I think that's what this show needs. I think more people need to say when someone opens up their mouth and says something stupid, somebody needs to be like, shut up. I think that would just I think that's what we're missing. Katie used to bring that. When Katie used to be like, shut up, it's really just it's dumb and dumber, dumb and dumber. Katie used to come in and just give the basic read that someone really needed. Like, shut up. Yeah, how about that? Just shut up. Um, but Kiana start, and then her and NECA start going back. She goes, "Is it a Wendy problem? Is it a NECA problem? Is it a K problem? Like, girl, what is the deal? Do we have an issue? Is there more of an issue? Because honestly, it's like NECA, you trying to talk right now? You trying to get rowdy, and I'm not the person you have a problem with. I'm just telling you the perspective and what I seen. So the fact that you coming at me crazy and like we're going back and forth, like what is that about? Like, girl, we don't have an issue. Um, and it's funny because I'm like, NECA, please, like you're just failing on all ends. And it's funny because I see people on Twitter and they're like, oh, I like NECA. She has shown us so much class. And I'm like, there's no way you're watching the same season as me. There's no way. There's just no way that the two of us, three of us, four of us are all watching the same season. If that's what you got from NECA. Like, I feel like the best thing about NECA is her champagne company, Bidot. Her sister seems really classy and nice. They should definitely have leaned into that more or leaned into her personal life. But what we have seen, and it could be a production fault, I definitely tried to, you know, factor that in. But what we have seen has been lame. She's been lame to me. Like, and anybody who has any other opinion is not watching the same show. Like, and they're lying. Or maybe they just don't like Wendy. And if you don't like Wendy, then I get it. Perfect. Makes sense, right? But as it stands, she ain't brought nothing. She ain't brought nothing to the table. But I feel, I could be wrong, but I feel like she could bring more. Um, then they cut over to the girlies that are playing tennis, and Mia forgot to bring sneakers, just only high heels. And she's telling a story to the ladies about how she used to put her feet on people for money at the strip joint she used to work at. And I'm just like, well, you were putting your feet on people who had foot fetishes, but you also had an inheritance? That math is not mathing. 1 + 1 = 3 over there. Um, then Wendy, much to nobody's surprise, says, "You know what, Mia? I'm gonna just start calling you Socrates because you always got a story." I'm like, I'm so glad that they're finally calling it out. Mia has a story about everything, anything she's done. And don't get me wrong, I think she is a very well lived girl. I think that she has done a lot, but I'm not sure all her stories are founded in truth. I don't think so. I think some of her stories are just that. They're fables. They are stories to tell people. Yes. Then she was like, what do you guys think about Ashley's divorce and this and that? And both immediately, everybody clamps up like, I don't have any opinions. Because the truth is like, if that's not really your friend like that, like, let me not give an opinion and cause beef. I'm just going to not say nothing and leave it alone. Um, but Mia calls her a gold digger. She's like, I think she's a gold digger, whatever. And Candace is like, I think that, she's lived a certain lifestyle and she wants to continue living it and, thinks that she won't be able to live it if he's, not with her or whatever she said, but something to those effect or whatever. Um, and then whatever. They all go back. The other girls leave skeet shooting. Me and them leave tennis. And while they're back, Ashley goes and calls Michael to talk to the kids. And, we see the kids running around on the phone. And then all of a sudden, Michael like cuts everything off. And she's like, Michael, put the kids on. Like, I'm not trying to look at you. I want to see the kids. And then apparently, she lets us all know that Michael told her that he doesn't want to be on the show. He doesn't want to be on camera or anything. And if she shows him on camera, he is going to sue her. Now, this makes a little bit of sense to me as to why Ashley's story is so boring. Because this man has threatened to sue her. But I'm like, why are you afraid of him? He threatened to sue Candace and that shit was thrown out. Like he makes clearly a lot of claims. He think he could just say whatever because he an old white man with money. He can't just do whatever he wants. There are rules. You can't just sue people just cause. And so I'm like, girl, you should have just kept your storyline exactly how you wanted it. But you're so worried because you don't have nothing to your name and you've spent the past 8 seasons of this show not making sure you had nothing to your name. And that's why you're in the predicament you're in. And this man can say whatever he wants to you to put you in this situation where you aren't even about to have this show. So he's really playing you and you allowed yourself to get played. Um, Michael's a trash individual. And Ashley, to me, has to be pretty trash to marry him. Like, you can't marry somebody that trash and not actually be a little trash. Like, you might be a recyclable, but you still gotta go. But because it doesn't make any sense. Like, he's not a good person, but you married him and said you loved him and had kids with him. So, what does that make you? I just think it's important to note. But yeah, then the ladies go to their final dinner for their trip in the Dominican. They're getting ready to leave, and at that dinner, Candace brings up the fact that Mia called Ashley a gold digger. Immediately, Ashley is getting mad. Like, did you marry Gordon for his money? And here comes Mia. I might have. And Kiana clocks it. She goes, well, that can't be true because you just told us yesterday that you had more money than him when you guys got married. So that can't be true. And luckily, production cut that in there, but no one else acknowledged it. But I'm like, yeah, thank you, Kiana, because you having the commentary that is important. Neka, what are you doing sitting there? That's the commentary you need to be having because what, girl, what are you talking about? And Ashley is like, oh, you know, you think that because that's what you did and you got fool's gold and pyrite, you didn't get anything from your man because he's broke, that's what I did. But I'm like, Mia's in a better situation than you. You're with a man and you're afraid to leave him because you won't have nothing once y'all leave, once y'all separate. You will have nothing once you separate. And you have the audacity to call Mia's money fool's gold. It's your money that's fool's gold because you, my friend Ashley, are a fool because you signed such an ironclad prenup. He knew he was marrying a dum dum. He knew that. He knew that. And then when you try to get him to sign that postnup, it didn't work out for you. Like he knew he was marrying a dum dum, and you have continued to be that dummy years later. Like you haven't changed. You haven't gotten any smarter. And that's the sad part I think it is about Ashley. Like Ashley has not gotten any smarter. We have watched her for 8 seasons on this show, and she hasn't learned anything. She's just as dumb as the day she showed up. And that's sad. That's sad. There should be growth in you. You should have seen all these women around you who have also married rich men and the benefits they've received and the life that they're living. And you should have said, now what did I do wrong and how can I change it? The fact that y'all going 50-50 on the kids and he makes more than you, I can't even begin to talk about the disappointment I feel for Ashley and the life that she's living. Like, it's crazy town. But what do you guys think? What do you think about Ashley's situation? Do you think that she's just an innocent girl that got played? Do you think she's dumb? Do you think that she really thought that they were going to stay married forever? Like, I just don't know what she could have been thinking when she entered into that situation with that man. It's just strange. But anyway, I can't wait for the next episode. We're almost done with this season. Candace did an interview and said there's only 2 more episodes left before the reunion. They've already taped the reunion at this point. So now I'm just excited to see how everything plays out. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and I cannot wait to see you guys next time. Bye.